What's up, guys? So today we're going to do a double tutorial. So basically a tutorial on the kettlebell push press and the kettlebell jerk. And I'm doing them both together because they're very similar movements, okay? So let's look at the press, the push press. Some key things. Both the jerk and the press are going to start from the rack position. The rack position is just like I talked about when we did the kettlebell clean video. We keep a straight wrist and forearm, right? We don't flare back the wrist. We don't have the rack out here by our shoulder. The arm comes across at approximately 45-degree angle, straight wrist, straight forearm, okay? Of course, we close over the bell there, just gently. And you're in the corner of the bell, right? So remember the corner of the bell from the clean video, if you've seen that one. Okay. So my forearm, my upper arm actually is resting on my torso with my elbow kind of bottom of my forearm sort of sitting in here. And if I round a little bit, I can really get the elbow almost sitting on the hip. And now I can sit here for a long time, okay, with kind of a rest position, all right? So you don't want to round, don't hyper round, don't do too much. Just a little bit so we get the elbow in there, a little bit of softness in the knees. Of course, you have to lock out if you're competing. Now here's the deal. Here's the push press. Okay, we're going to dip, knees go out a little bit, they kind of slide forward, okay? And then we're going to, this has to be, let me do a couple things here. This has to stay connected, okay? I'm going to do a little dip, so the knees are going to kind of scoop a little bit, right, forward. As I dip, they're going to go, and they're not going to go in, right? They're going to go out a little bit with a little bit of a scoop. And then we're going to drive. Now, when I drive, this has to stay connected. I don't want to push before I drive with my body, right? This is called the bump. It's basically you're bumping the kettlebell off of your body, and that's what's going to give it most of its forward or its upward trajectory. All right, so let's do it and talk about it a little bit. So just with the push press now, not the jerk yet, we're going to sit, it's the same dip. So we're doing a dip. I'll try and slow it down here. We're going to dip, and then we're going to drive. Keep that connected because you need the body to toss it up. If you try to push up, oh, it's all arms. But if I bump, right, the arms do part of the movement, but I bump it to, let's say there, boom, and the arm completes the movement for the push press. There's no re-dip on the push press. When I come down for either, I do re-dip to absorb. So as soon as the bell touches, we absorb. And it's that same little knee dip, okay? So that is a push press. At the top, just like we did with snatch, you want the thumb not forward of this frontal plane line. It could be in line with it or preferably slightly back just a little bit. Arm, I have a little bit of tissue in the way there, but your arm ideally as close to your ear as possible, okay? And nice and straight, vertical line. My elbows don't lock straight. I have a little bend in it, but if you have normal elbows, then you would, okay? And that's your push press, all right? And that's how your recovery is that little dip, so you don't have that kettlebell slamming on you. That's a big mistake a lot of beginners make. So start light, get the technique down. Now let's do the jerk. The jerk is identical, except we do a little dip. So watch, let me do it. We'll do it from kind of both angles here, okay? We'll go. So here we go. From this angle, right, we're going to do a little dip. We'll try to slow it down if I can, as best as I can. We're going to go. So on this, what are we doing? What's different about this? Well, we're dipping, we're driving, we're still bumping with about the same amount, except now I'm going to drop down just a little bit, and now I have less distance to extend, okay? So on the push press, and then I push it the rest of the way up. On the jerk, I dip, drive, drop. So that drop is like you pushing yourself under the weight just a little bit, and then lock. There's a little bit of a push up where you're going to lock out and then you're going to recover. Okay, so let's look at it one more time. We bump. So this part, it's hard to slow it down, but we're going to, let me grab a lighter kettlebell so I can really do my best to control it and slow it down for you, just so you can see it, okay? I'm gonna dip, drive, drop, and then there's an extension. So let's do it again. Dip, drive, drop, extend. Hopefully that makes sense. It's very difficult to slow that down in real time with weight, but I dip, I drive, I drop, which is part of my extension, and then, you know, there is a little bit of a press at the end, but it's all in timing. Okay, so here's how it should look. All right, I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Stay strong. I'll see you next time.